What's up, guys? This is Emmanuel from TeamDBZ Biscuit, and today we're coming at you with a odd odds deck profile. This is just a fun deck that I really love. It's just a deck that is just always close to the heart. So let's jump into this deck profile and let's see what we're coming at you with. Start things off, we're running 3 of our odd odds Revolution Dragon. This card is key staple to the deck now. You want to be able to get this card in hand as fast as possible. This is your main searcher that you want to start your searches with. Even though you're taking 500 damage, being able to get this card in the hand and search out any of your dragons in your deck is very helpful to you and extending your plays the way you want to. Also too, being able to put a light in the graveyard, very helpful. Also too, don't forget about its pendulum effect, being able to bring back one of your Synchro XYZ or fusion monsters that's been properly summoned out of the graveyard. Being able to help extend your plays and protect them is very helpful to you. We're also running 3 of our odd odds, our Pendulum Dragon. This card you want to see as fast as possible. Also, being able to make sure that you can get this card in your pen scale as fast as possible is very key. Also, too, people have been trying to snipe me out on my Art Pendulum because they're starting to learn that this is the key card to the deck, and that's something I've been having to really flex around, and it's been making me come up with a lot of new strategies on how to keep this card floating back to my hand, whether it gets destroyed or however it gets off the field. Also running 1 odd odds Pendulum Dragon and 1 odd odds Phantom Dragon. Both of these cards are very useful for the deck. A lot of people don't like to run odd odds Art Pendulum Dragon or the Phantom. That's cool. Everybody has their own takes and critiques. But to me, these cards being able to be good beaters for the deck is very useful. Art Pendulum, be able to get a search of 1500 lower at the end phase. That's a good thing. Also, too, it does have a battle protection similar to a Waboku if it's in the pen scale with one of your monsters. Also, too, your Phantom being able to get that extra burn damage, and also, too, being able to bump up your monsters in battle can be helpful to you also. We're also running 2 odd odds Persona Dragon. This card is very helpful, being able to snipe out your opponent, extra deck monster effects, and being able to, whenever they activate the effect, chain this card to it, making sure that it cancels it out is very helpful to you, being a good defender for you and being a great low scale. Also running the mascot, the 1 odd odds Mirage Dragon. This card is very good for being a searchable normal summon for the deck. Also too, if it is put into your pen scale, if one of your monsters is destroyed, blow this card up. If you usually have your odd odds Art Pendulum in your extra deck, sneak this guy into your extra deck at the end phase, he'll blow up, allowing you to get a search for one of your 1500 lower dragons and helping you to extend your plays. Also too, don't forget, if you got an odd odds on the field, this guy can be in defense mode and be a protection for you as an extra block, or he can protect one of your other odd odds. Very helpful for you. Also running the 1 Perform Power odd odds Dissolver and the 1 Perform Power odd odds Synchron. Both of these are helpful for getting you into your fusion plays and your synchro plays, depending on how you want to do it. This guy, he seems to get in my hand a lot. This gets sad to me, but the fact that you can use him as similar to a battle protection, protects one of your pencil monsters in battle. You can special summon him to the field and protect that monster from being destroyed, so that's very useful to you. But mainly you want to use this to go into your fusions and this to go into your synchros. We're also running still the 3 Chronograph Sorcerer and 1 Time Gazer. This is just something that you always want to be messing around with, in my opinion. Your Time Gazer is going to be able to help protect your pen scales from being destroyed one time. That's very crucial to you. Also too, your Chronograph Sorcerer is just an extra body on board. Whenever you use something like your Sky Iris to get the pop, you can actually use this to special summon and actually special summon another dragon, or just special summon itself can be very helpful to you. And we're also running 3 of the Supreme King Darkworm and the 1 Donut Gate 0. This is just another still little nice little free special summon and a free search to help you get a good low scale. Also too, the Gate 0 being able to make sure that you can pop it in a odd odds with your Art Pendulum on the field, being able to get another setup for your another scale, a search out of your deck for a special summon, and a special summon from out of the extra deck can be very crucial to a lot of your plays. And lastly, I'm running the 1 Chaos Emperor. This is just good for making sure you can sneak this out of your extra deck once you've used the effect to get one of your banished dragons back from out of the out of the banished pile. And a lot of times this really catches your opponent off guard because they don't think this is coming out, and you already have a light target in the graveyard most of the time. Depending on how you set up your graveyard, you have a light and a dark setup in your graveyard at all times with this deck, so it's very helpful. It helps you to extend into a lot of your good plays. Also too, a lot of you may notice that I took out the little magician girl out. I took her out because a lot of people, I was extending into plays to help the magical abductor. I was helping extend into plays with all my spell cards, and people were just sniping her out or ashing her as soon as I get to that search. And it was really extending into plays that would lead up to nothing. So I just took her out, consolidated the plays, and just made it so that the plays are more concise to what I want to play for. For the spell cards, I'm running the 1 Odd Eyes Fusion. This is just your plan B, helping you to, if you don't have the play set up the way you want to, you won't be able to get that vortex on board and start grinding in your grind game as fast as possible. And that's what this is for, making sure you get to your Odd Eyes Vortex. Either you properly fusion summon it this way, or through your Odd Eyes Dissolver, you want to get that vortex on board. Running 3 Allure Darkness. This is just very good for the deck, being able to see 2 extra cards out of the deck. Even though you're banishing 1 out, you've got your Chaos Emperor to be able to get those dragons back. He's going to keep looping in the deck, so you can still keep getting him and still getting those monsters out of your banish zone, so that is very useful to you. Speaking of that, we're running the 1 Sacred Sword of 7 stars. This is also something just like a Allure Darkness. The only difference is you pay the cost first. Very helpful to you. And I'm also running the 1 Pot of Desires. This is just a free +1. That's all it boils down to. I don't run 2 because I don't want to desires into desires, and just being able to play it 1 time is usually all I need to get that extra card in hand and keep my plays going the way I want to. Also running 3 of the best searcher in the game, in my opinion. Spiral Flame Strike. It's just being able to search out any of your Odd Eyes cards. That's a level 7. Get it to your hand. Also too, don't forget you can get them out of the extra deck also if you don't have any more in your deck. Also too, if you have Odd Eyes on the field, you can be able to pop and snipe out one of your opponent's cards on the field, destroy it. That can be very useful to you for getting spot removal too. Also running 2 Summoner's Arc. Like I said, you want to be able to see that Arc Pendulum as fast as possible. You want to be able to start your the grind game going, and be able to help get your plays, extended, and help to just start setting up your pen scales the way you want to. I'm also running the 1 Duelist Alliance. The only reason why I don't run more of this card in this specific build is because I'm only searching mostly for my Arc Pendulum Dragon, and it's not searching much more than that. This card, I have to have a pen scale set up first before I play this, so I'm actually committing something to the board before I play this card, and that's the one reason why I do not play more than 1 of it in this specific build. I am running 1 Pendulum Paradox, and a lot of people will say that this is a trash card, and I get where they're coming from with it, but this card helps me to recover cards from out of my extra deck when I have multiple pen scales that are the same but different names, and that way I can pen summon more than I usually could and leaving stuff in my extra deck. That helps me to keep my plays going stronger and longer than most of the other decks that I've got. Also running the 1 Gold Sarcophagus. This is contingent with the Chaos Emperor Dragon to be able to banish out a dragon, use Chaos Emperor, and get that card right back. I'm also running the 1 Terraforming and the 3 Sky Iris. This is needed for this deck. You want to get the Sky Iris. Sky Iris is actually a very crucial card in this deck, even though it's not, what people think it is. It's the card to be able to protect your pen scales, and also to being able to get that search of that Revolution Dragon or your Odd Eyes Fusion or whatever Odd Eyes cards you need at that time can be very helpful to get the plays going the way you want to. Also running the 1 Dragon Shrine and the 1 Foolish Burial. This is just to make sure we get those dragons in the graveyard and set up the graveyard the way we want to with lights and darks, or just get the graveyard set up with just dragons. Also running the 1 Forbidden Chalice, or actually 2 Forbidden Chalice, because I wanted to have a way to, I don't like running Infinite Impermanence because it's a trap in the main deck, but I wanted to have a way to have something when I start making my moves that my opponent can't just say, alright, I'm gonna negate that, the monster effect, and then I gotta have a negate to come out with that too. So I wanted to play this as another way to get free monster negates without having to build monster negates on top of it. Also too, it's good for having this set and flipping it over on your opponent in case they have a bigger attack monster than you, and you can just sneak over them just very easily. And lastly, for the main deck, I'm running 1 Call by the Grave. This is just to make sure this deck can have very crucial hit points, and be able to have this in your hand, it can make a difference. I didn't like running this at 3, but running it at 1 because it is at 1 is very helpful. Also too, if your opponent is running a graveyard based deck and they have one specific key card that you can hit and sneak it out of their graveyard and they can't activate no more of that, it can be crippling enough to hurt them. So this is very good for the deck, and I think it's a good call for the deck. But that's it for the main deck. For the extra, I'm running 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon and 2 Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. This is just, I flex, like I said, I flex on the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon in the Gatling Ghoul. Right now I feel that Starving Venom's a little bit better. The second effect of his I'm not too concerned with the copying effect, but to be able to grab an attack and also to being able to wipe a board, especially some of the monsters, that can be very helpful to me. Also too, your Odd Eyes Vortex Dragons, they're just good Omni Negates, and being able to get that bounce in the ground game is very helpful to you. Also still run the Draco Berserker of the Tingy, Supreme King Dragon Clearwing, the Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, and the Clearwing Synchro Dragon. These are all very useful to me depending on the situation that I'm playing against, things like that. The main thing is, a lot of times these cards, when they're properly fusion summoned or synchro summoned, excuse me, your opponent will get rid of them if they can get rid of them, and being able to bring these things back with your Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon can really throw your opponent off, and they really don't see, they don't see that coming. So being able to get these properly summoned and being able to, really wipe your opponent out is very, very helpful to you, and very, very crucial, especially your Supreme King Dragon Clearwing. Also running the 1 Odd Eyes Raging, the 1 Odd Eyes Absolute, the Supreme King Dragon Dark Rebellion, and the Magician of Hope. This is just a nice little lineup. I like the way it's coming out a lot. Like I said, I've been having issues, me personally, with people sniping out my Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum out of the pin scale. So to me, being able to have pendulum monsters in the extra deck that can either sneak themselves into the pin scale or being able to set up new pin scales is very useful to me. So the Magician of Hope and the Odd Eyes Raging help with that effect. Being able to either him setting himself in the pin scale, or this one being able to set itself and put another pin scale up on the next following turn if I need to, is very helpful to me. Also too, using these both as fusion materials if need be for the Odd Eyes Fusion is helpful also. The Absolute being able to be a good negate, and your Supreme King Dark Rebellion is getting over both monsters and just hating on them in the battle phase, and that's very, very crucial. Also running the Dragon Balls, running 1 Cross Sheet, got the Dragon Fist, and we've got 1 Borlo Dragon. This is just something that's a nice little lineup too. I like a lot. Being able to get that free wish, get that bounce, and get that free special summon out of the deck depending on what you need is very helpful. Cross Sheep, I don't use it so much for his fusion special summon effect, but I use it more for its XYZ and synchro effect, where if I can drop my opponent's attack points down on their monsters or either boost mine up depending on what I want to put underneath at that time. Draco Berserker of the Tingy, is mostly because it's going to be good for your opponent. It's hard for your opponent to out this card for most decks, and it's also good just being able to, if you got this card and just a Art Pendulum in the graveyard, that can help you out a lot. And the Borlo Dragon, it's good for being Borlo. Borlo is Borlo, just being able, just making your opponent squirm a little bit. But that's it for this deck profile, guys. If you like the deck profile, be sure to hit the subscribe button. You can find it right down there. Also, too, be sure to Gallop Gun that like button. It's right there. Thanks, guys, for all your love and support. Leave any comments, suggestions that you have for the deck down in the comment section below. Thanks, guys, for all your love and support. We're out.